You know, many news are there which are relevant for you, but I don't think anybody is going to discuss. Like this is a very sensitive news, but only passing reference and only limited to some newspapers. This is from Tribune, Chandigarh. Hmm? It says that the sluggish growth in agriculture. Why it is because you are feeding 81 crore people. Why should people work? Labor is not available in the agricultural sector. So it is just a symptom. Hmm? Uh, may be important for you, may not be. Then this news is there. Government says that we are doing a lot for the demographic dividend. You know, jobs can be created only in the primary sector and lower secondary, you can say, MSMEs. But nothing is being done in primary, no spending is there. And in the secondary also, Chinese products are very cheap and they are available freely. How will you promote? And I've already told you this demographic dividend will shortly become demographic curse. By 2050, the number of older people that you will have, you don't have any schemes for them. You have never thought about it. You'll have to design many more new programs with a lot of budget, with a lot of space for them, with a lot of activities you'll have to create for them. Really, they are the wealth of the nation, you can say. Hmm? Anytime aging can be an issue, but for governments it is not, and for you people also it is not till the time you become old. But the issue which concerns today is this one. Dongriya cones. You already know about. Hmm? Vedanta was going to have a alumina plant in Orissa, and that was the largest fund, 55,000 crore was to be there. But no consent of Gram Sabha was there. Somehow they could reach Supreme Court. Supreme Court directed the public opinion because in the Gram Sabha, in the tribal villages, 80% of the people must consent to the private sector and 70% to the public sector. So all the 12 villages they voted against, and one of them wrote to the minister, one of the panchayats, one of the gram sabhas, that if you are interested in royalty, we are ready to pay the royalty. You give the mine to us. And they didn't get any response from the minister because corporates will give fund to the state, to the political party for election. Tribals won't. And otherwise, if tribals are given, it will be very cheap. They'll have much more profit because many international agencies and NGOs and technical support will come to them, and it will be very handy, very cheap for them. Hmm? And this news it was there in Hindu Today, and it in general pertains to particular pertains to Dongriya cones, but to tribes in general also later on. And the person who is the main source of information, Professor Ota, he was here. He was the chairman of Orissa Shulka tribe, and Lambi Choda naam hai. What it says, Dongriya cones, whose only brush with literacy is through the smartphones. This is the level of education. Smartphones have reached everywhere. Drinking water has reached everywhere through distilled water bottles, not the piped water. Hmm? Formal education has not touched several villages in the Niyamgiri Hills range of Raigad district. However, the detailed project approval budgeting achievement Prabandh A new central government scheme of school education intervention shows there are only 16 people who have been enrolled in the entire district. Hmm? The on-ground reality is different in Raigad. There are only 44 high schools that cater to the district of tribal and Dalit population. Then on the way, these schools they are so far that they have to walk on foot through the jungle and they encounter beasts and in jungles and nalas and on and every 3 kilometers away are the schools. Then I told you about 12 Gram Sabhas in 2013. They voted against that. Hmm. During the fifth five-year plan, the union government had an intervention plan to uplift PVTGs and mainstream them. Then in one of the villages, 6 children have reached school age, but they don't go to school because they simply have no access to one. Schools are far off. And not only that, the tribal children, they face plenty of discrimination from their friends from other, even scheduled castes, of course, higher castes. Like Birhor that I studied in Jharkhand. Beyond the fifth class, most of them they leave the school because school is at least 5 to 15 kilometers away, and the friends, batchmates, they chide them, literally hate them. You can say considered as untouchables without any fault of theirs. The only problem is that they write Birhor after their name. Ramesh Birhor, Kundan Birhor. I advise them they can have their first name only, but then that is a tradition. Then in a village with 45 families, one family has ever sent their daughter to study at a school in Chitikona, 10 kilometers away. They dropped out after class 6 and 4 and returned to the village. This year, 5 children have been admitted. In another school, launched in 1987, this DKDA agency is there, launched in 1978-79. Over the last 46 years, they have been focusing on 7,000 odd Dongriya cones distributed in 1650 households in 64 villages. However, the baseline survey conducted in 2019 says the literacy rate among Dongriya cones under DKDA was abysmal, as low as 7.4% for the boys and at 6.67 for the boys, and sex ratio is healthy. Sex ratio is very high if you see, but literacy is very low. And why this contradiction is there? I think the government should take it into account. In 2011 census, 1.4 crore people, accounting to 33.43% of the Odia population, had never been to school. 33% people had never gone to school in Odisha. And the Odisha government at that time claimed to having their best period in their life. Then challenges which are there, struggle to grasp whatever teachers teach in the classroom. We have been telling about that at primary level the education should be in the language. But Odisha government under Professor Ota, they created lexicon for 21 tribal languages. That was a positive step. But I have contacted a number of times. For the last 3 years, they are out of print and the copies are not available. I contacted even TRI in Bhopal. Again, they never had it. In the market, they are not available. Then what is the use once they publish? Then it will be lost forever. Then the latest Odisha Economic Survey 23-24, that is the latest, more than 30% leaving school children before completion. They leave the school before they complete. Dropout rate for the tribal boys at the secondary level is 35% compared to 30% for tribal girls. You may think that tribal girls are getting more education. Actually, they drop out earlier only. At fifth level, most of the time, after fifth, they drop out. So that's why the number is less. The government has introduced a new scheme called Madhav Singh Hath Kharcha, and they are being given 5,000 rupees to each student if you are entering ninth class or 11th class. I don't know what 5,000 should mean to an ordinary person. But the problem is that the school dropout, the way it is there, it is not only a question of school dropout. If you talk about the whole education system, either schools are not there. If schools are there, teachers are not there. You have Samvida Shikshak, contract teachers, only two teachers up to primary, and only three teachers up to middle school, maybe five teachers up to high school. So no system is there, and I consider that they are getting unemployment allowance. All those people who are working as Samvida Shikshak, they are fighting for other government jobs as clerks or assistants or even in PSC. We are funding a lot for higher education without caring for the lower education, and the center says that lower education is the prerogative of a state. But how many states are there of the party that has a government in the center? Are they different from other state governments? If it is a matter of state, then the party in the center, they should take care of at least their own schools, their own states. Neighboring states will follow. It is all a matter of passing the buck. If you are promoting only higher education and you know the level of education, I conducted survey in a Girdi school where of the 36 students in 8th class, only one fourth could write 1 to 15 in Roman and Devanagari in 8th class. So that is the state of affairs. So obviously, they are not the target of higher education. And they keep telling to the world that we are the humanist people. The worst kind of democracy would be what Gandhiji said. You should look towards the person who is at the lowest level on the ladder. And democracy, the way we are playing, I gave you the definition of democracy. One idiot is equal to one genius. Two idiots are more than one genius. You can fool the people till the time, every new time you bring in new jugglery programs. So Niyamgiri is an ideal case, not only for PVTGs, but tribals as a whole, because they are not a vote bank, because there is no sound leadership. So the onus lies on the people who have studied anthropology and who use anthropology when they become teachers or educators or in the bureaucracy.